Good morning. I apologize to Italians. Just to begin, I'm Italian. I will be speaking in English. The language of our organization is English, so I respect that. So I hope I'm sure the translator will do a good job. I'm the co-founder of, together with Gilda Moratti, of an American non-profit organization called Elephant Action League. It's a pretty unique organization. Basically, we merge the word of wildlife conservation, wildlife protection, with the word of homeland security, investigation, and intelligence. And soon you will see why we needed to put together these two different words. Our mission is to fight wildlife crimes, so crimes against wildlife and forest, through concrete, collaborative, and innovative projects. We have 1 foot in the field, in the dirt, sometimes literally in the dirt, doing investigations, capacity building, train the rangers. We do a lot behind the scenes, collecting information on wildlife crimes and criminals. And then we have 1 foot in places like this, talking to people, talking to policymakers, politicians, media. And we try also to operate now on the final market, destination markets like Asia, like China, where these products are bought. Today there are just a handful of non-profit organizations dealing with wildlife crimes. Until not long ago, that was the domain of governments and law enforcement agencies. But we saw the need to work in this very tricky, complex field also as a non-profit organization, because we thought governments were not doing enough, or sometimes they don't do nothing at all. So I'll be talking about wildlife crime. I'll be presenting you 2 very innovative, courageous initiatives from the private sector that try to tackle this very difficult problem. But as you will see, above all, I will be talking about the rule of law, the importance of the rule of law. And I promise you, it's not boring just because it's the rule of law. You will find it interesting. It's very important to the rule of law and the fight against corruption if we want to achieve a positive planet. Otherwise, it's not possible. When I started working on this presentation, the very first question got into my mind was, okay, fine, positive economy, positive planet, wonderful, but positive for whom? I mean, it's pretty crowded out there, a lot of stakeholders. And actually, I like to call them shareholders, because we all have shares of this. So I asked myself, are we working towards positive planet for us? This is us. This is Hong Kong, but can be any of our cities. Shiny cities, skyscrapers. We drive these amazing cars. We feel like James Bond when we are driving these cars. TV, like 2 meters large. Or is a positive planet for them, for him? I took this picture in Goma, in Congo. And it's not that shiny, the bike he's driving, and he's working. He also deserves a positive planet, but he has different needs. Or for them, we're all talking positive planet for them. This wonderful elephant in Tanzania, but I mean non-human inhabitants of this planet. Or for him, them. This little fellow is from Chiang Mai, Thailand, but I mean, your children, grandchildren, grandchildren. So if we really want to work for a positive planet, we have to be inclusive. We have to think about all the shareholders, not just some of them. And we have to try to protect the weaker shareholders. Before getting into the presentation, sometimes I like to show this vignette, this comic strip. I'm sure some of you knows already this comic strip. I'm not sure if you can read it, but anyway, it's in the future, and the adult is talking to the children and saying, yes, the planet got destroyed, but for a beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for shareholders. We are heading towards this. And for shareholders, maybe he meant only company shareholders. I mean the stronger shareholders. So let's see what is wildlife crime. So we are dealing with, our organization deal with mostly with the non-human shareholders, but not only, because of course, as you can imagine, they're highly connected to the other shareholders. Wildlife crime is probably the most important threat against a positive planet. Just to give you an example, we are talking about trafficking of ivory, trafficking of rhino horn, trafficking of illegal logging, import, export of illegal wood, illegal fishing, so this kind of crimes, is the 4th transnational crime in the world after drugs, weapons, and counterfeit goods. That's wildlife crime. Billions and billions of dollars, so you can imagine how many different players are in. To give you an example, in 2012, the UN recognized wildlife crime as a serious threat to the rule of law. So it's not just the environment or not just key species. In the picture on the right is the ivory seizure and weapons seizure in Gabon. The other picture is myself checking illegal logging in Gabon. Wildlife crimes also means a huge human toll. And this is something very often, not even mentioned, totally underestimated. 1.6 billion people on this planet depends on forest, and 60 million for subsistence, meaning you take away the forest, they don't have anything else. At the same time, in the US, the import of illegal wood lowered the price of timber of more than $1 billion. So, with serious implications for companies and for workers. Militias in Central and Eastern Africa makes millions of dollars just from ivory. This is something I know very well because 3.5 years ago, together with another person, I was the first to discover the link between illegal traffic of ivory and the Somali terrorist group Al-Shabaab. This is the guys. So human toll means orphans, means widows, money laundering, lots of people dying, traffic of weapons, all connected to wildlife crime. As you can see here, very profitable, low risk. The scheme is not very clear, but I can help you. Just up in the red square, there is the price of gold and cocaine, and the mark of $100,000. You can see parts of bears are already above cocaine. Rhino horn is getting very, very close to $100,000 per kilo. A horn like this is about $300,000. You buy an apartment. So you can imagine the temptation of the people to get into trouble. Bones from tiger is very close to gold price. So very profitable, low risk. That means that at the end of the day, yes, we are fighting wildlife crime, but actually we are fighting corruption and a weak rule of law. These are the enemies. And these are the enemies not just of wildlife trafficking, these are the enemies for anyone also dealing with human rights or human development. Corruption is probably the most critical factor behind what we fight and behind what many people fight in Africa, Asia, in other countries. There's a long list here of things related to corruption. I just go through quickly. Illegal logging, illegal fishing, poaching, trafficking, transnational organized crime makes tons of money just thanks to corruption. The terrorist attack in Garissa the other week, they bribed a policeman to get inside Kenya with weapons. So the implications are really serious. And if you have a look at the Corruption Perception Index of last year, 2014, you will see that most of wildlife products come from very corrupted countries and sometimes go to very corrupted countries. So that's the challenge. This means, all this money, all this profit means that very dangerous people are involved. These fellows, these gentlemen are on the Interpol wanted list for all kind of environmental and wildlife crime. They are very, very often, almost all the time, very closely linked to the political elites. They're very organized. They move not only ivory and timber, they move money, they move people. They're constantly ahead of us, meaning the international community. They often exploit poor people, as we just saw. They don't get dirty. These people are almost untouchable. And this is the sad part. In the past decades, I would say 30, 40 years, not a single kingpin for environmental crime has been arrested. They just cannot be touched. So now I mean, if now you feel a little bit despaired and depressed and a little bit angry, and you're thinking, wow, how are we going to tackle this? Well, welcome to the club. I feel like this pretty much every morning for 10 minutes before breakfast. Every morning I feel a little bit despair. But then I have breakfast, I have my coffee, and I stand up and I fight back. And fighting back is also the slogan of our organization. And now I'm presenting two examples very quickly because I have no time of ways that we, example from the civil society to fight back. The first example is the Wildlife Justice Commission. It's a very unique new foundation in The Hague. I'm one of the founding members. I also sit on the supervisory board. We got the inspiration from the International Criminal Court, so the ICC in The Hague. We try also to learn from its mistake. It's a mechanism designed to activate local justice in those countries and to hold accountable governments if they don't do their job. With a very strong investigative component. We have a very strong team of investigators, ex-Interpol, ex-US Fish and Wildlife Service, that do investigation in the field. It works pretty much like this. A case is submitted, we investigate in the field, we investigate very serious people, and then we go to the government, directly to the minister, directly to the president, and we tell him, hey, here it is, all the evidence about these people. You have to activate your local justice, you have to arrest them. If they don't do it, we escalate at the international level. We are putting together a bunch of very high-profile ambassadors, and then we have a public hearing in The Hague, public, CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC, and we name and shame these people that is not working, that is not acting. At the moment, we have two investigations, one in Africa, one in Southeast Asia. I cannot elaborate much on this because it's probably is the most guarded secret right now, but at the end of this year, we'll probably have the first results. The second initiative is WildLeaks, the world first wildlife crime whistleblower initiative. So we collect confidential information anonymously about serious wildlife crime, and we act on that. Has been launched by our organization last year. We just finished the first year, the pilot. And why we create WildLeaks? Because to report, to denounce, even talk about serious wildlife crime in many countries is really, really dangerous. You get in trouble or you get killed. So we wanted to create a safe space where people can denounce and share what they know, and then we act on that. So whistleblowers, I don't know how the translator will translate it in Italian. I'm sure it's not a nice translation. So I usually see whistleblowers as referees, and each of us is a referee. We see something wrong, we blow the whistle. This is wrong. Something has to do something about it, and then we try to do something about it. So I'm just going a bit quickly because I'm out of time. We built a state-of-the-art platform on the Tor technology to assure that people can submit information anonymously. This is the result of only the first year, the last 12 months. We received about 60 leaks. 20 of them were useful. 8 were shared, either with other NGOs or with law enforcement agency in order to arrest people. And we got everything from document from the custom of Hong Kong about ivory seizure with the name of the consignees, illegal poaching of tiger in Sumatra, illegal trafficking of chimps in Central Africa, illegal logging, and so on. The conclusions. The rule of law is the foundation of a positive planet. As we saw in the other slides, very dangerous people is involved. Very powerful, and the weakest shareholders are not protected. So the only thing that can help us to achieve a real positive planet is the rule of law. Corruption is the real Ebola of a positive planet. Corruption has really bad effects here in our world, we are in Italy, don't get me started on Italy, but you can see the effect. In some other countries, developing countries, corruption kills. Corruption kills projects, kills innovation, kills honest people, and kills hope. So if we don't really fight corruption, there's no hope. So no matter how much money you send, billions of dollars you send to these countries, no matter how many conferences you do, how many books you write, if we don't put at the center of our life, of our work, of our thinking, the rule of law and the genuine, serious fights against corruption, we will not achieve a real positive planet. So I want to finish with, I invite you to have a look for the last time at the shareholders. This is the people we are working for. Whatever we do, whatever you do, I really invite you to consider all the times all the shareholders, and we have to work for a positive planet for all of them. So I hope that as we do every morning after breakfast, you stand up and you fight back for them. Thank you.